Did you know that breakups peak in the month of February and reach an all-time high in the month of March? Hey everybody, welcome to Keeping It Real with Kiaundra. I am your host, Kiaundra Jackson, licensed marriage and family therapist. And I bet you're wondering, how is it that relationships actually peak in February, which is supposed to be the month of love, and reach an all-time high in March? But if you didn't know, I'm gonna break it down for y'all right now. There are multiple times throughout the year where breakups actually increase. And I know that this might be a little bit surprising to some of you guys, but it's actually not surprising to me at all. And I'm going to break it down to you guys so you guys understand why that is the case. But before we get into it, I need for you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button so you can get notified of all of the weekly episodes that I have coming your way. Now, there are certain months throughout the year, like I mentioned before, where breakups tend to increase. We're talking about January, so around New Year's. We are talking about February, around Valentine's Day. We're also talking about March, which we'll get into a little bit later, and why that is the case and why it reaches an all-time high. But we also have to remember that relationships and breakups tend to happen around the holiday season as well, so November, December-ish. So these are just some things that I need for you to consider. But because I'm a little nosy, I need for you to comment below. Tell me if you've ever ended a relationship in any of those months. And if you want to provide us with a little story, we here for that too. So look, the first reason why breakups tend to peak in the month of March, and this is from my perspective, is societal pressures. I don't know about y'all, but we are inundated, and I'm talking about inundated with commercials, with ads, with people standing on the side of the freeway selling you flowers, selling you all different types of little mugs and teddy bears. I'm talking about we get pressured into the holiday season when it comes to, I'm not even gonna call it a holiday season. We get pressured into the Valentine's Day hype and hoopla, whether we want to or not. We talking about flights increase. We talking about dinners become more expensive. We talking about flowers become like 4 times its regular price. I mean, it gets a little crazy around Valentine's Day. And I know you guys are probably thinking, well, Kiaundra, it's not just about, romantic love. Right. Valentine's Day is not just about romantic love. You can really share the love that you have with your family, friends. Valentine's Day is a thing, which is, hanging with your gal pals on Valentine's Day. So I completely understand that. But for this video, we're talking about the romantic one. So if there's all of this outside societal pressure for us to do whatever we want to do with our partners, think about the internal pressure that must have on us as well. So depending on who you are and what your relationship status is, some of y'all are dating, some of y'all not even dating, y'all in a little weird talking phase and you don't know what y'all doing. Some of y'all have been in a long-term relationship, some people are married. Depending on what your relationship status is, some of this information may or may not apply to you, but I want you to be reminded of the fact that internal pressure colors how we act on the outside. And if you choose not to do something for your date, for your partner, for your wife, for your husband, or whatever on that day, you might be low-key seen as a bad person or a bad date or a bad partner. And we don't want to be feeling like that. We don't want you to feel like that. We don't want you to get lumped into that category. But the societal pressure and the internal pressure to over-deliver, to do the most around Valentine's Day is real. And it puts people in a very interesting and a precarious situation because not everybody got all the money to be doing all that, right? And so this is why we need to have communication and talk to our partner about some of those things, which we're going to get into in a second. The second reason why breakups tend to increase in February and peak in March is because of these unmet expectations, y'all. Woo! Depending on where you're at in your relationship status and your relationship journey, I can tell you that there are so many things that go unsaid and unspoken, and we think that our partner, our potential partner to be, is a mind reader. They not, boo. If you don't say it, it probably ain't gonna happen, especially with men. Men are horrible, okay? Horrible with clues and little hints. You gotta be more direct with them. But essentially with these unmet expectations, we have these things around what we want for Valentine's Day. We want to go on excursions. We want to go to this best restaurant. We want gifts. We want all of these things. We want chocolates. We want to take flights, honey. We catching flights and feeling. Truth be told is we don't even tell our partner what we want all of the time. A lot of us are holding inside like, oh, I really like this person. Things are moving well. It's progressing. I want to make things official and, put a stamp on this around Valentine's Day. We don't say anything. Girl, boy, how do you expect the relationship to advance and go further if you don't say anything? So whether you're trying to define the relationship, keep the spark alive, go to a certain restaurant, eat a type of food, or get a certain type of gift, you need to verbalize what you are saying, because if you don't, it's gonna cause some trouble. Now, let me tell you why it causes a little bit or a lot of bit of trouble, because this is the thing, right? If your expectations do not get met, if your needs do not get met, you're gonna be salty around and after Valentine's Day. You're gonna have an attitude. Yes, you are. Which means you're gonna have an attitude the week after Valentine's Day, and then the week after that, and then the week after that. And now we're technically going into March. And oh shoot, we in March, y'all. And because we're in a whole new month and we haven't used our communication skills, now we got attitude. Our relationship is in a funky space. We trying to do all of the things that we supposed to have done 3 weeks ago. And now we're in a new month. And guess what's happening? Our relationship is going to blow up. And oftentimes, again, this is when relationships break up and reach that all-time high, is because of things that lingered on from last month, y'all. So this is where people get dumped, diggity dumped, dumped, heartbroken. Okay, because this is when issues that should have been resolved around Valentine's Day and last month linger on over to the next month. Baby, your partner probably tired. At this point, it's annoying. This is 3 or 4 weeks later. And so this is where the issue tends to happen. And I think if this is happening in your relationship, about all of the other relationships all across the world who are experiencing something similar. And this is why it's important to have effective two-way communication. Which leads me to number 3. Horrible communication is what puts people in this interesting situation where they're gonna break up in February and in March. And it's really because things just don't get addressed in a timely manner. I tell people all the time, if you have an issue, you need to talk about it as quickly and as often as possible. If you have an issue, do not let it linger. Do not let it take weeks and months for you to bring it up. Oh, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to say, and then no, you were running. No, you were avoiding. Okay? So instead of you waiting, I literally know people who have waited years to bring up stuff. Remember 5 years ago when we went to, girl, you just now bringing that up? I done forgot. So it's important for us to address issues as quickly as possible. I'm not saying it gotta be in the exact moment, because it is healthy for us to take a breather, stop, pause, take a walk around the block, do whatever you need to do to get in a state of relaxation, in a state of managing your emotions so you won't pop off and things will get worse. But as quickly as you can after the disagreement, the argument, the confrontation, whatever it is, it needs to try to be resolved. And this is the issue, because people let it linger. And this is what happens. People are letting that stuff linger. Those unmet expectations linger from Valentine's Day all the way into a new month. Then boom, everybody dumped. Everybody got broken hearts. And we're just like, I don't understand why March is the month. It's because of the excess lingering from February. Hope you learned something new, and I am so thankful that you chose to watch Keeping It Real with Kiaundra. I will see you in a new episode next week.